Ambassador Delattre, let's turn now to Syria.
Sure.
Syria, President Assad is running for I don't know what term now, again having what most people call sham elections. Sure. In the middle of a devastating civil war. And of course, one has to salute France for its very courageous positions, both in the United Nations Security Council. Your ambassador to the UN has condemned Assad's use of chlorine gas on innocent civilians. He spearheaded a UN resolution asking for the International Criminal Court to investigate war crimes in Syria. Of course, this did not pass because of Russia. Russia vetoed that. And we all recall back in August of 2013 when the US backed down on a missile strike, France was ready with the jets on the tarmac. So we see some differences on Syria between the United States and France. To what extent does Paris feel somewhat hamstrung by Washington vis-a-vis Syria? Would Paris like a more supportive stance vis-a-vis the moderate opposition, or have things gone too far? Is it too late, despite the fact that we know that President Obama talks about perhaps bolstering the moderate opposition to fight both the al-Qaida elements and, of course, Assad? But it just seems like things have gone so far by now.
You know, Carol, confronted with what is the worst, probably the worst human tragedy in the 21st century, it's never too late. And we, the democracies, have to stand up if we believe in the values I was referring to, and try, to put this tragedy to an end. In the example you were referring to, the truth, though, is that it is based on the threat, the Franco-American threat of the use of force against Bashar, that he decided to engage into the disarmament, the chemical disarmament. So that's a result that is not enough, of course, but still we have, based on the threat of the use of force again, Franco-American threat, gotten some results here that are not unimportant, as you know. But I think it's fair that, and it's the French position, that we have to do collectively more in terms of, number one, promoting the moderate part of the opposition, in terms of, number two, sticking to our strategic goal, which is a political transition in Syria. And we all know that the election, presidential election there, was a mockery. The pseudo election was a mockery. And number three, we have to foster our humanitarian commitment to Syria. Let's keep in mind that we've had there 150,000 people killed, literally millions of displaced persons and refugees. This is something that we cannot accept. So if we can do better collectively, yes, of course. If it's too late, no. It's never too late. Again, if we believe in the values that we stand for, then we have, together, the US, France, our other friends and allies in the region and in Europe, be even more committed to solving this tragedy in Syria.
Specifically, what policies would France like to see adopted vis-a-vis Syria now that the Geneva talks have failed?
Sure. And
the elections have gone forward? And how would you like Washington to take the lead?
Again, on the three fronts I mentioned, the humanitarian one, the political one, but also in terms of better supporting the moderate part of the opposition. The thing in Syria is that you have the Assad regime, and you have three components, if you will. You have the Assad regime, which we all know. You have the jihadist opposition, and you have the moderate part of the opposition. The only, not only rational, but based on our values, policy that we can promote there is to better support the moderate part of the opposition. And at the same time, to better fight against the jihadist radical networks that exist in Syria and that are more and more destabilizing the whole region. Think of Lebanon, think of Turkey, think of Jordan, Israel, and I could go on and on. So this is a crisis that is in direct opposition to our core values, but that is also threatening an entire region. So again, let's roll up our sleeves, never give up, and with the US, France, Britain, the Germans, and a couple of others, try to do even better on the three fronts I was referring to.